back for another week of Saints Talk. I'm Kevin Washington. As always, I'm with my guy, Nick Underhill. Nick, what's up, man?
Just living, man. Just living.
Hey, before we start, thank you guys for showing up. We appreciate it. Just want to give you guys a heads up. You can go to NewOrleans.Football/shop and you can get a shirt or you can give someone a subscription. So just want to put that into the universe. Make sure you guys check that out. And I'm going to be mentioning it again. There you go. Get your shirt, man. It's out there. NewOrleans.Football/shop. Get you a little medium. Join the club.
Yo, I got one right here. Actually, I got a medium right here. There ain't no way that this actually fits your body, man.
Bro, I'm just saying, man. I got a large on though.
That's like a G.I. Joe shirt, man.
Look, man, the sleeves are loose.
Come
look at all that extra right there. Come on, bro.
Yo, you probably slid them on the other side.
Look at all that extra, bro. Look at see.
All right. But yeah, we got a pre-sale going. It ends April 11th. So get them one-time run. Once they're gone, they're gone. So make sure you get your order in, and we will send you the shirt.
Hey, Eddie, we got you, Eddie. We got you. Your 2X with small sleeves. Hey, I'm here for it, man. That's what's up. Hey, thank you guys in chat for joining. Again, make sure you guys go to NewOrleans.Football and get you a shirt. We're gonna mention it again. Like I said, you can give someone a monthly subscription, or 1 month subscription, excuse me, or an annual. So go there and check it out, man. Support the website. Supporting a good cause, man. Nick, let's get into some football. I apologize in advance, and I'm gonna shout the person out on Twitter. I forget it. I wrote the handle down, but they gave me a good idea for a pod. And you guys, we do the pod for you guys, right? I mean, me and Nick can talk to each other all day, but we're here for y'all. So I got a good idea from a listener, and we took it up. So you guys can't say I don't listen to you. If you guys give me a good idea, I'm gonna listen, man. I'm gonna listen. We're gonna do a pod about it. So all time, the Saints, it's kind of like the Saints Pro Bowl / All Pro team in the Sean Payton era. So we're going to go position by position. We can probably skip a few of them, but we're not. And we're going to pick the player who we think is the best player at that position during the Sean Payton era. So we'll see.
There he is.
Hey, there we go. All right. Yeah, that's it. That's okay. Shout out, man. Shout out. All right. This one's for you.
Appreciate you for the idea, Willie. Before we get into that, real quick.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So Carolina made the trade.
Yeah, let's talk about
They got Sam Darnold in. He's presumably going to be their quarterback. They gave Teddy permission to shop for a trade. Let's say he agreed to lower his salary down to whatever the guarantee is. I believe it's $10 million. What would you do? And he's let's say Carolina's willing to make the trade with a divisional opponent.
For one thing, I don't even want to give up anything higher than the 6th, right? Like I don't want to give up any significant draft capital there. That's my first thing, because I think the picks this year are at a premium. You got to build your team. The salary cap is.
Well, you do have Trevor Siemian, so you don't have to draft another quarterback as a backup, but.
That's fair. He's a backup, though. I can't diss him for that. Yeah, that's fair.
But you might want to get another quarterback in.
See, but so what would okay? So do you think what does Teddy give you? Right? Like, is he?
Teddy get all right? So let me jump in. Teddy gives you a floor.
Yes.
Teddy gives you a floor. You know what the floor is with Teddy. I don't think. You know what Jameis's floor is. Jameis's ceiling is significantly higher. You might win a lot of games with Jameis because of Jameis if everything works out with him. Teddy went 0-8 in 1-score games last year. So you're not going to win a lot of games because of Teddy.
Right.
You could win games because of Jameis.
Right.
But you also might lose a lot of games because of Jameis if things go bad. Like if that his floor could be variable or it could be lower. You know what Teddy's floor is, so you'd at least be setting the bar that Jameis has to overcome in camp. And that bar's at a point where I think that you could safely settle for it and win your 10 games. He's going to throw accurate passes. He's going to protect the ball. He's not going to win you. He's not going to give you the miracle drive. He's just not. He might at some point, but what we've seen throughout his career, it says he's not. So that would be the reason to make that trade. And if it didn't, if Jameis succeeds, I'm good. And now you have a really good backup. I mean, odds are Teddy probably is a backup quarterback in the league if he isn't starting for the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
I think most teams probably see him in that role. A backup plus is how I would probably call it, a Brian Hoyer. He's probably like the new Brian Hoyer, where he might start some places, but he's going to get replaced.
He's Fitzpatrick. Like he's like Ryan Fitzpatrick, like the guy who if he got to come in, you feel good about him being in the game as a backup. So the question I would ask is like, what do you get with the year of Teddy starting? Like, what do you get? Like, I don't think he's going to win you a Super Bowl. I don't think Teddy's going to beat anyone in the Super Bowl. The team isn't tanking. We know that. Sean Payton wants to win. So that's the part of me that understands it. If he says, okay, I can win with Teddy, but I'm just like, he's not going to.
See, I feel like they could have won the Super Bowl last year. And I mean, the thing that I just kind of feel like, and I'm afraid to say this because I feel like nobody's saying it, but everybody thinks it. The quarterback play wasn't very good last year for various reasons.
That's true. That's absolutely.
The quarterback was hurt. So like, I'm not bagging on him. He was hurt. Like, he hurt his foot before the San Diego game. Like, there were a lot of injuries throughout the season. I don't think he was very healthy the whole year. The quarterback play wasn't that good. They won 13 games. They were knocking on the door.
Yep.
You bring everything back. Like, can you replicate the quarterback play they had last year? I think you can.
See, I don't think the team is as talented though, right? I think
it's going to be a little bit less, but
there's a question
how much?
At a few places. Yeah, I mean, what's going on at cornerback too? What's going on at linebacker? You got less weapons on offense. The tight end position is still a question. The interior line is still a question. So it's like I look at the team and I say, the team won with Teddy, not because of Teddy. And man, we love Teddy here, right? I don't want to speak bad about it. I feel a little guilty about it, but just when we're talking just football related, like Teddy's someone who I don't think, you're always looking for that next guy, right? So I would rather, and this, I don't think a coach would probably say this, right? And this is probably just someone that's none working in the NFL. I would rather take my chances with Jameis because, I think there's some meat left on the bone there as it pertains to what he could be. And maybe he shows it as the season goes on, man. Maybe he doesn't figure it out all out in camp. I would rather take that chance than to go with Teddy, where I just see my ceiling as playoffs, right? And Saints have been to the playoffs. That's we passed that. It's something else that needs to be done there, right?
I 100% prefer the idea of Jameis as a starter, but I like the idea of having a very high-end backup that sets the floor. And if for whatever reason, and look, if they were actually interested in bringing him in, like if that's a move they made, that's going to maybe kind of illustrate something to me as far as the information that we don't have about last season, about what happened last season, where the player is, what they're thinking.
Yeah,
because if you're sold, that's not a move you make.
I agree with that. And if he's sold, he doesn't hit free agency. I think there's a case to be made there too. I think the contract kind of lets you know how they value him.
I agree with that to a degree, but like maybe there was also a sense of playing hardball, trying to get a really low price because your cap situation's bad, knowing that you could maybe kind of bully the situation, that nobody else was going to give him the money, and maybe he had to go find that out.
But if he's your guy, you don't even play like that though. I mean, Chicago was in the mix, like if he's your guy, like, I mean, if you know he's the guy, Marcus Williams doesn't get the franchise tag. Remember, that's extreme, but if you know he's the guy, then it's no way he hit free agency. You just tag him, and nobody else on the team matters. So I think we agree that they don't probably know exactly what they have with Jameis right now, and that's fair because he hasn't done it in the games. But I just see with Teddy, I just see, man, this is not true. But it's like Teddy's ceiling is Winston's floor almost. It's like, Sean has to coach. Like, he has to be the best coach every Sunday for, I think, to win with Teddy for the most part. Like, we saw what Teddy did in Carolina, and they was trying to get Carolina's picking 8 this year, right? Not has
they better hope they're right, man. Because if you miss the evaluation on the quarterback twice,
well,
those guys are gone.
They haven't
man.
given any significant draft capital. I think Rule is going to be there for a while. Knowing how Tepper's one of those like analytics guys, and Rule is there with him. I think they'll be around. But I get your point. But they haven't. It's not like they've spent like a number 2 pick on the quarterback, right? I think if you get a guy in free agency and then you give a second for, I don't know. I get your point though. I think you make a fair point though. So
I mean, the OC missed on his guy, like his handpicked.
That's true.
Guy.
That's true.
And now you're going back to it. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I don't know.
I just
with the unknown. That's all it is. Like I'm not like my takes on Teddy have been consistent throughout. I have my thoughts on him.
Yep.
It is what it is. I do, however, like the idea of raising the floor there just because of how much we don't know about the quarterback on the roster. We know a lot about the one, so I'm hoping it's a whole lot better with the other one. If you bring in the third guy, I at least know that there's a level of competency that is going to be just built into that room to where you can't fall below this mark. And
so you would rather start Teddy than Taysom?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, man, I at least I kind of feel like I know what I got with Taysom there. So I don't know. I don't
know. Like I saw Taysom play good twice against the same team.
That's fair. That's
so I don't know. Like maybe fair. His floor is different. Like I know where Teddy's floor is. There's just a lot of unknown. Like that 4-game sample, I just don't know that we found.
Teddy was
out.
not, but Teddy was like, they won those games, right? The narrative is Teddy was this great backup because they won these games, but they won in spite of him in a lot of ways, not because of him, right? I mean, he had balls sailing all over the place, and I'm just thinking like you bring that back. And look, maybe you get a whole season, you off season, you the guy, you going in, you're not going to be replaced whenever the number 1 guy gets healthy. Maybe there's a different player in there somewhere. I mean, didn't you see Carolina last year and he wasn't lighting it up for the most part there neither? I mean, he played well against the Saints because
I think look, I know they run the system. I think the coaching here is significantly better.
Yes, true. Yeah.
I do think Teddy got better when he was in there for the Saints, like as it went on. Like I think he continually got a little bit better. Mm-hmm. I think he looked a little bit better last year in Carolina than he did throughout. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just like having a very good expensive insurance plan, and I think that there's some merit to it. Shout out to Travis Reeves. We got our first subscription of the show, so shout out to you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Appreciate the sign up. You guys keep them coming.
Got a couple T-shirt orders in too. Keep those coming too.
Hey, get your little mediums in, y'all. NewOrleans.Football /shop/medium. Or you can get your double XL with the small sleeves like Eddie. That's hilarious, man. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just think like when you get with Teddy, you're getting someone who's probably what 20.
Travis got the T-shirt too. He did the whole package, man. Thank you.
Doubled up,
you, man.
Double up. Hey, we love it, man. Thanks, Trav. But yeah, I don't know. With Teddy, you getting someone who I don't know. I think I'm looking like the 20th best quarterback in the NFL, right? I mean, we can do a list and look through everybody, but like I would rather have Sam Darnold than Teddy. I'll be honest with you. Like like it may be something there. So it's just tough, man. It's tough. Jameis got to be the guy. Jameis has to be good, or they need a quarterback next year.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Like the options we're talking about, I'm gonna be a little bit disappointed if Jameis isn't. Yeah. Like I am. Like I need to know.
Begging Jameis to be the guy.
Like I need to know. Like even if it's a disaster, like I just need to know. I need him to get like 4 starts to start the season at least. And if it's a disaster, it's a disaster. Whatever. I don't think it will be. Like I'm like talking myself into believing. Like everything he's saying all the right things.
Right, he's saying.
I thought it was extremely interesting, and I mentioned it on the last pod, like how he kept using the word serve and how he was going to serve the team. Yep. I thought it was extremely interesting that like Sean Payton used that same terminology today, and I'll yesterday in Albert Breer's Monday morning quarterback column. So like Jameis is bought into to everything that they're saying, and if his play matches the words, the ideals, all that stuff, I think it could be good. I'm going to be disappointed, man. I want him. Yeah. I want to watch him play quarterback for the Saints.
Well, listen, you single-handedly willed Taysom Hill into some starts this year. Hey guys, look, before the season, Nick was like, "Bro, I want to see Taysom." I was like, "No, man, because that means something. That means Drew is gonna be hurt, or he's gonna be really bad, right? He's either, should have retired, or he's injured, and it was the injury, and Drew never recovered."
Don't put that on me.
I know, man. My bad. This is live. But
like, it's like the little voodoo dolls on Magic to Tom Brady.
Hey, you in New Orleans, bro?
Man.
Yeah. So I mean, I just think, I don't know, man. If I know, here's one thing I know about Jameis.
Hey, by the way, we're off vitamin water on the show, so you want your logo on here, you gotta pay us.
Yeah, you gotta. If you want, vitamin water got their little free sponsorship for a few weeks. We off that. If you're a sponsor, get jump on them DMs. Nick's not mine. I'm not the boss. But yeah, man. I don't know. Jameis has to be the quarterback this year. Otherwise, it's going to be exciting with Jameis, man. Like whether in a good way or a bad way, but it won't be boring football to watch, right? Like I'd rather Jameis 4 interceptions, craziness than seeing Teddy like throw the ball over people's heads, man. I don't know. And I feel, like I said, I feel guilty, but I don't want Teddy Bridgewater to be the when they traded for Darnold, I was like, man, the Saints gonna get Teddy again. Watch. Like it's like that's the first thing I thought about. I wasn't worried about if Darnold was gonna be good in Carolina. I was like, Teddy's coming back. So I don't know, man. But it's I don't know. Just don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. All right, let's get into this. So,
I will say that I don't think that they're absolutely set at quarterback. I still think the door's open.
I do
still
too.
think if the right opportunity presents itself, starter, backup, whatever.
Yep.
I think they're still, as Sean likes to say, in the quarterback business.
Yep. And he said it. What the interview? I forget who was it. Rich Eisen or someone he was interviewing with. He mentioned it like 2 or 3 times. Like, hey, like. This thing isn't done yet. Maybe something else happens. Darnold was a possibility at that time, but yeah, I definitely think that if the right guy shows up, then we'll see.
There's some yard sale couches still out there. Oh God,
that's crazy.
That analogy he uses is so crazy.
Yeah, he's like he's using this one now. Or the old couch.
He had a crazy one in Breer's column about just like when your parents pass away and maybe not even they pass away, like when you're going through their belongings, you're picking.
Yeah, I was just like, what are you talking about?
Man, the man's a poet. Like he's got some crazy analogies, man. Hey, shout out to Matthew Brophy, followed through with the subscription. We appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, Matt. Thanks, man. Thanks for the support. Appreciate that. Get you a shirt too, man, to go along with it and just complete the circle. It's funny because like I was reading a thing and I was like, it just doesn't come across the same when you're reading it to when you're hearing it, right? Like I was reading it in the article and I was like, Brit should release the audio of this interview and it'd probably come across a lot better.
Yeah.
So, all right, man, you ready to do this?
Yeah, the All-Pro team.
All-Pro team. So
Willie's suggestion is good suggestion. We're definitely always looking for topics and things to talk about. So yeah, send those back.
Yep. You guys are
if we don't use it, it doesn't mean it's a bad idea, but like sometimes the right suggestion comes when we're like, what are we going to talk about this week? Yeah.
And listen, I'm gonna be real with y'all. You probably have a better chance jumping in my DMs than Nick's. I'm just letting you know. Man. I'm just letting y'all know because he always hit me like, what we talking about this week? So I'm just saying, man. That's my role. So just jump in them DMs, man. Holler at me. So, real question before we start: how did you approach this? Did you just say like best player, or did you try to build like a team around players with a certain scheme. And when I was doing it, I didn't want to ask you because I didn't want to mess up your train of thought. But I was like,
I wasn't like, oh, this guy's a power blocker and this guy's a zone blocker. No, it wasn't like that. And that. I just tried to pick the best players, and I tried to. There's a couple that might be a stretch, but I wanted to mix it up a little bit, and I didn't want to have a team dominated by nostalgia. I think when you do these exercises, so what we did is did we describe the parameters? What we did is built a team from the Sean Payton era, the Drew Brees era, 2006 to present, best player, nickel personnel on both sides.
Right.
So
no Sam linebackers.
No Sam linebackers, yeah. We didn't need AJ Klein on the team. But yeah, I think when you do these things, sometimes it's real easy to get dominated by nostalgia, and this guy was awesome and he's a Saints legend. But I think there's guys on the team right now that deserve to be on this team, and I tried to build it that way.
This is not the Saints Hall of Fame team right here. But
I'm changing one as we do this.
Yeah, Byron said, "Poor Scott Fujita." That's hilarious, man.
It's modern football, though. Like back in the that was an important position, and 15 years ago it was a more important position for sure. And then Wes Welker emerged, and the league changed.
So what you're trying to say is Mike Carney is not on your list. You don't have a fullback, man. What you got?
No fullbacks.
All right, so let's start with punter.
There's only one. Morstead.
All right,
all the way.
Kicker.
I'm going Will Lutz.
Yeah, I'm going Lutz too. I thought about Hartley just because Super Bowl. And I'm like, but Lutz is statistically you can look at Lutz. All right, so I'm gonna blow through some of the list because some of it is easy and then some of it is.
Let's start on the O-line.
Oh, okay. You don't want to? Okay, let's do that. Left tackle. I think that's easy.
Consensus on.
Yeah, and so just and when every position, I would just say, was there anybody else you considered for this position to run? No,
I didn't.
No, me neither. I didn't even think twice. Left guard.
Go first.
I went call Nix, and I didn't think twice. I didn't think twice about it. This is a fun one. Center. Who did you go with center?
I went with Max Unger.
Okay. Yeah,
I considered a bunch of people, but
okay. Who did you consider?
Well, I mean, right away, like McCoy's potential is crazy. Like he was on my list, but I think Unger was really, really solid. He came in, he solidified a position that needed to be solidified. Yeah. He saved a trade that should have been terrible. Man, because Stephon Anthony, the way he busted out, he made that trade where you can legitimately make the argument that it almost came out even.
I think the Saints won that trade.
They might have, but
Jimmy Graham was not good in Seattle.
Yeah, you have to look at the loss. So the prize of that trade ended up being such a loss. Jimmy ended up being a disappointment. It's an even trade, I think. I think that they might have won it though. I don't know. You can make an argument. Yeah,
I think Max Unger was a better player for the Saints than Jimmy Graham was for the Seahawks. I mean, they got him up out of there after that contract, and
that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, Max Unger, if it wasn't for injuries, he was a stalwart on that line, man. So, and the Stephon Anthony stuff, my gosh. Oh gosh. So you're telling me Stephon's not on your list? That's what it sounds like. Anybody else? I thought. Jeff Fain.
Philip Puente.
Goody was the next guy. I was like, man, Goody was good. Goody was good, but I went with Unger. But I did have that was my, my other guy that I thought about. All right, so let's go right guard. Do we need to?
He's the only other. Jari has possible Hall of Fame potential, and I don't know. I don't know if anybody else on the team going through that era. There's a lot of really good players. There aren't a lot of guys with Hall of Fame potential.
No. It's not even. I don't even know if there's even a close second. I didn't even think. That was one of those ones you just write the name down and keep moving. All right.
You aren't taking. No, I ain't even gonna make the joke. Go ahead.
Oh, you're gonna say Ben Grubbs? Where you going to Pete? Where you at, bro? Jamar Nesbitt?
let's just move on with
Larry Warford. Come on, man. No, Warford. I thought about Warford for a hot second, but it was not even close with Jari. All right tackle.
I took Ramczyk. Look, I think he's the most talented right tackle. All respect to Zach Strief, everything he meant to the team. One of the greatest draft picks in team history. I think it's Colston and then Strief, probably just based on value. I don't know. Great. He's in the conversation somewhere, and they're just a 7th-round pick that became a starter for that long. Like, it just doesn't happen.
Absolutely.
And towards the end, he played at a Pro Bowl level. So, but yeah, I think Ramczyk's just has the potential to be one of the greatest in the game.
He got Hall of Fame potential. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Yeah, he's starting off like a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, yeah, he is. And this is kind of what I was talking about to the lead up. These are the spots where I think you can get caught up in longevity and nostalgia, and it becomes there's probably people that would think it would be sacrilegious to take a guy that's only been doing it for a few years over a legitimate Saints legend. I think Strief is a legitimate Saints legend.
Absolutely,
he's a coach now. He's the voice of the team.
Right.
Like, he's going to be synonymous with this team as
forever.
Anybody.
Forever.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But I just think Ramczyk is sets the bar.
He's a better player, man. I mean, Strief, he's just like, I got to get this guy ready, then I'm out of here. I mean, but I will say, so what was the hardest? So I'm guessing you're like me. Center was the hardest one to choose out of this group, right? Because I'm gonna be real with you. I kind of almost went McCoy. I'll be honest with you. I almost went McCoy, but
I almost did too, and it felt too soon. It felt too soon.
Yeah. I feel you. All right.
I mean, he hasn't like Unger was really, really good.
Yeah.
McCoy might.
He can be.
I don't know.
If he continues like he is, then he's on this list. Like if
he might be now. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, give him another couple of years with his current play, then he's the guy, right? I think he's the guy. But I'm with you. Maybe like if we did this next year, Unger will probably be maybe on that guy. He would be on this list if he has another good year.
I guess like part of my thought on that too is that like if things had worked out a little bit differently last summer, like he wouldn't even have been the center. Like he was 100% moving to guard.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And then things just didn't work as they should have, and then they got forced into staying with what was comfortable. I don't know if that foreshadows what's going to happen next year or not. I know there's some thought of like already having a year invested in Ruiz at guard.
Yeah.
And maybe going that course, but it could very easily end up switched and he's at guard next year. So McCoy's at guard next year. So, I don't know. So I'm going with Unger until like I don't even know what position this guy's going to be in a few weeks, a few months.
Yeah, kind of wonder if they should have ran War Daddy off. Just keep him around for another year, man. All right, quarterback. Moving on. Running back. Who did you go?
Alvin.
I went Alvin too. So how easy of a decision was this for you?
Pretty easy. I was just honest about it.
Who else did you consider?
I mean, Sproles,
if you had to do like the next guy, I guess the better question is who's the next guy on this list? Yeah, you got Deuce, you got Mark, you got Sproles, you got Reggie, you got Pierre. I know.
I take this. It's tough. I mean,
Alvin's the easiest. Alvin is the clear-cut number one. The next guy it's a specialty guy that you're kind of choosing, right? Like Reggie is wasn't a pure runner. Sproles wasn't a pure runner, but then Deuce was. Mark was a pure runner, but they're not as good in the pass game. Alvin is like the best of both worlds, right?
I guess I go with the high, and I would have to go with Sproles at that point. I think Pierre had a longer window. Reggie, was important in his own way and was really good in his own way and kind of set the stage for everybody else after. So he's kind of the OG of the position. Mark was good for a while, but I think that you got to go. I think that you have to go with. I think you have to go with Sproles.
I may go PT though. I'll be honest with you. He was good in the pass game. He was a good runner. And if I'm building a team, right? If I'm building a team, I'm going with Sproles because Pierre is easier to find. But for the Saints. And we're just doing Saints. Like, I don't know. Pierre did it for a long time. And I don't know. I could see myself going PT here, but I would probably go Sproles too. But I can see someone making a case for PT and saying, I get it. I get where you're coming from. He's maybe after Alvin, he's the best guy that, all around guy, right? So you kind of getting like a guy who can run the ball and someone he's he wasn't like dynamic in the pass game, but he was a good pass catching running back. So yeah, but this was a tough one when I was thinking about the guys after Alvin. Alvin was pretty easy, but once I started thinking about it, I was like, okay, Sproles, Deuce, Reggie, PT, those guys. It kind of was interesting to wonder who's like the next guy on that list. Okay, tight end,
Jimmy.
Okay, did you consider anyone
No.
nobody? Okay.
The only thing I considered is just, what could have been if he had stayed here. I don't think that he would have hit the skids the same way he did in other places.
I agree. Totally agree. Yeah, I think it kind of got to him on some non-football levels too. Like, Jimmy wore his feelings. Like you could see, I don't know. He's just one of those guys where I feel like that affected him, just like his upbringing and whatnot. So, yeah, I went with Jimmy too. I definitely didn't think of Kobe Fleener. I didn't think of Jared Cook. Shockey was someone that came to mind, but he definitely not over Jimmy. I think Shockey was probably the only guy who I thought about on this. Oh, and I just saw it in chat. Someone mentioned Chris Ivory at running back. That was another guy who I kind of overlooked, but he had his time here too. So, man, that's the offense. Oh, all right. So here's where. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say one thing. Like everybody's bringing up Deuce. Like I kind of feel like, obviously Deuce is the Saints legend. 06, he had a great season, and then there wasn't. This is the Payton era. I think if we extended it out a couple of years, like it's much closer.
Yeah.
And I think he'd probably be the second name in that conversation for me. But just kind of condensing the window down to 06 and forward is kind of, where guys like, Sproles and others might pop ahead of him a little bit. 06, incredible season.
Yeah.
And then
Deuce was
yards.
He was good in the pass game too. So I mean, it's not like he was a lot beater there. But yeah, he only had 1 year with this.
Yeah, 92 yards, 418 in 08, and then, wasn't there by 09. So
yeah,
that's kind of why that's, the conversation went another direction. But yeah, if we're talking all time, like obviously he's I think probably right there behind AK.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, like I said, Nick said, remember, this is just the Payton era. So, I mean, and some of these guys may have been on here a shorter amount of time, but I think AK, it's just hard not to choose AK. I don't know how else to put it. So, all right. So this is where it gets fun. One of these are going to be tricky. All right, let's just get it out the way. Wide receiver one wide receiver. I think we both got Mike on there. That's pretty easy. Who's your wide receiver two? Because I kind of struggle
outside
with
guy.
this one.
So yeah, my other outside wide receiver, I'm going with Brandon Cooks.
Dang, bro, I had the same guy.
Come on, man.
I know. I
thought I was getting you on that one.
I thought I was getting you. I got one more where I'm gonna crush you. I got one more where I'm pretty sure I got you that you don't have this guy, but I was thinking there's no way he's gonna have the same wide receivers as me. I hate that we share a brain, man.
Yeah, because I put Colston in the slot, and I think it's important to recognize him in the slot at that position. He kind of was the big-bodied slot. He kind of set the prototype there, and the league has followed that. And I think that was where he kind of shined and created mismatches and everything. So I got Colston in the slot, Mike at the X.
Where you put Brandon Coleman?
Hey, blocking wide receiver,
Nick
maybe two at this point, because I really think Traquan's a really good blocker. So
yeah,
that's how I would do it.
So guys, and just to let you guys in chat know, like Colston, and I'm repeating what Nick said, but Colston is the godfather of big wide receivers in the slot. Like he maybe not the first that ever did it, but he took it to a level that like no one pretty much had done before him, right? Like he kind of created that. The
people listening to this like aren't understanding the conversation right now. Like it's not like a depth chart. It's just Colston's in the slot. When you said wide receiver two, you meant who's the other outside wide receiver?
Yeah,
Mike's the X. Brandon Cooks is the other outside guy. Colston will be in the slot. If you went through a two receiver set, it'd be Mike and Colston. Cooks would probably come off the field.
Exactly.
Unless you're running a deep shot and it's a deep play, but that's how it would probably go. But Colson is a slot, so those two guys are on the outside.
Exactly. There you go. And we're doing nickel, right? So in nickel, you got 3 wide receivers. So we're not ranking them in any order. But
I'm ranking him Mike's number 1.
Yeah. Even though he is number 1, I will put Mike number 1. But when I say wide receiver number 1 is the X, right? So the guy who's the single guy on one side of the field that's going against press coverage. Wide receiver 2 is your Z. He's the guy off the line of scrimmage that's not facing the jam. And then your slot guy, he's in the slot. So don't think of it as like we're putting Cooks over Colson. No, we're just putting guys in an offense, and you got your X, your Z. Now, listen, if there was another dominant X, I wouldn't choose Cooks just because he was a Z. But it worked out like this, and that's how we slotting him. Yeah, I knew this was going to be a fun one. Who else did you think about in there at this position?
Yeah, obviously, my only other consideration really was having Colson on the outside and Lance in the slot. Mm-hmm. That was maybe my other way to go about it. But I wanted a home run hitter on the team, and I think Cooks had some really good seasons when he was here. It ended very poorly. He took things, unfortunately, to a place where it didn't need to go. And I think he kind of, forced his way out.
Traded every year since.
Yeah. And, that's unfortunate. But, I think those are probably the 4 guys that would be at the top of the conversation. And then you start to get to, Devery, Willie Snead, and those guys. But I think it's those 4. And then there's, the other guys after that.
I'll be honest with you. For a hot second, I thought about Devery as my big play wide receiver. For a hot second,
you definitely probably had the best eyes of any of the.
Yeah, like his deep ball tracking, and once he got the ball, like I did think of Devery. Devery was someone I thought about. Lance Moore, obviously. Those are 2. Joe Horn, I thought about Horn, but he is kind of the same thing with him and Deuce. Like he only played here, with Sean for a short amount of time. So I don't know. And I just don't think I still think I would have went with Cooks regardless. But this wide receiver was fun because it's either you're trying to build an offense or you're just picking the top guys. And for me, it kind of felt somewhere in between there. So it was a fun one.
Where'd Brandon Marshall fall on your list?
Right there, slightly above Champ Bailey when we get to the cornerbacks, and below Brandon Browner, and Dez Bryant is above them all. Oh man, that's crazy. Those guys, that was the same year, man. Brandon Marshall and Dez Bryant. That was
Adrian Peterson.
Oh man, that was a wild year. Was that 17?
That was 17. Yeah,
that was 17. That was Alvin's rookie year. Yeah. Someone just mentioned Kenny Stills. That's an interesting name too. I thought about him for a second. All right, let's go defense. All right, dude, let's go defensive ends. You first. Now, Cam Jordan, obviously. All right, who's your defensive end number 2?
I took Cam and Will Smith.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, did you have any? Did you second? Was there any other close consideration? I thought about Gillette for a hot second. Like as just a speed guy. He was good for a few years here, but
he was.
But I don't know. I think I just kept thinking about that belt pick, and I couldn't put Gillette on the list. But yeah, I think Will Smith and Cam.
Yeah, honestly, I typed those 2 into my note, and that was it.
Kept it moving. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's do defensive tackle last. Let's
go in order.
Okay.
Go ahead first.
All right, I put David Onyemata on there.
Yeah, I got him on mine too.
All right, who's your defensive tackle 2?
You go.
I put Nick Fairley.
Okay.
I put Nick Fairley.
Does Cedric Ellis count on the inside?
Nope.
He played inside some.
I didn't even think about. I would have put Rankins over Ellis, I think.
Really? Off one season?
Just pray they stay healthy. Cedric Ellis, he never was. He was good, like maybe like his first year and a half.
I don't feel like there's like a distinguished cast of like interior guys on this team.
That's why I went with Fairley because he was good in that one year, and I'm like, it was either him or Rankins.
No, it's interesting. I mean, if you had to build a team for a year and you were taking their peaks, like I think you would probably be.
Yeah.
Well, if we're doing it that way, then I think I would probably take Rankins. But the biggest disappointment with Nick Fairley, I think, is that he had that heart condition before the defense got good.
Yeah.
And if he had played with the 17 secondary, like he might have like really ate. It's
that would have been wild. I never heard what happened with that contract. Like that situation just kind of went away, that cap space. But yeah, I struggled with this one because I was looking at guys. I mean, I was looking. I had to go look up some guys. I saw Sean Rogers in there, Broderick Brunkley. I'm like, Bobby Richardson. I don't know if he was a defensive end or defensive, tackle.
He was in that.
Yeah, he was an end. I'm trying to think who else I thought about. Malcolm Brown. I just thought about going with a pure nose or good run stopping nose. But I landed on the only other guy I put on the list was Akeem Hicks. But when he was with the Saints, he wasn't the same player that he became in Chicago. So as a Saint, he wasn't that dominant force. He had flashes. I remember I wrote a whole thread about it on some website that if you guys look hard enough, you might be able to find. But yeah, I just went with Fairley, and Onyemata can play both spots at DT. So if I don't know, this was probably the hardest or second, maybe one of the. It was three areas where I struggled, not struggled, but had to think a little bit, and this was one of them.
Yeah, no, it was definitely hard. Like there aren't a lot of great options. So
yeah. Okay, I think linebacker is gonna be easy. Who's your Mike? Who's your Will? It doesn't matter which one is.
I got Vilma and Davis.
Yeah, same two guys. Yeah, I got Vilma at the.
I got Davis. Yeah, I got Davis at Will. Yeah.
Davis at Will. Yeah. Cornerback. It should be Marshawn. Yep. Who's your second cornerback?
Jabari.
Yep. Same here. Who's your slot?
Let's do that one last.
Okay. Free safety.
Marcus.
All right, I'm about to piss you off with my strong safety one. Who's your strong?
I took Roman.
I took Malcolm Jenkins.
That's fine. I think that's a fine pick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I took Malcolm. When I was thinking about it, and this is kind of where I went into team building mode. I'm like, I'd rather have a safety who's a little bit more versatile with the current NFL. And, we was talking about no Sam linebackers, right? And just that pure, strong free safety. That pure, strong safety. It's maybe a few of those guys up, but it's not a lot of them. So I saw Malcolm. I was like, okay, he can. I kind of, Malcolm. I kind of considered Malcolm in the slot for a hot second too, but I think I settled on him at strong safety as his best place. So, anyone else in safety that you kind of considered?
No, he was really kind of. Those were the two for me. There was another one.
Super Bowl.
But,
no. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slot. I was just wondering. I was like, I'm not going there. I just wondered if you were. Yeah. I'm not. He could have been a 10-time All-Pro.
Yeah, there was another one. Yeah.
Put Bullocks on there. Where's Jason David? We move him the corner. Yeah, I'm not going there. Okay, who's your slot?
I got CD.
Dang, me too, bro.
Yeah, it was either him or Patrick Robinson.
Him or P-Rob. Yeah, I couldn't think of anyone else. I thought about maybe. So my other thought was pick another corner, like just have three corners, right? Tracy Porter, Jabari Greer, Marshawn Lattimore, right? Marshawn can move around, and I think Porter. I'm trying to remember Porter playing this slot in any. I think Greer did at times. That crossed my mind, but I think CD. I don't know, man. I like him. I like him, man. I think
he needs some attitude, man.
Yeah, dude. Exactly what I was thinking.
On this team, yeah.
These dudes, man. They all got their shirt buttoned up perfectly. I need a guy with his top button is on the wrong one. Don't put that church shirt on right, bro.
But yeah, look, I like the way he plays. I like everything he brings to the field.
Yeah.
There's probably like P-Rob might be a better. It is peak. P-Rob was probably a better slot corner coverage, just straight up coverage wise. But I think CD gives you things, and I think in modern football, there's things that he can do that allow you to disguise and be positionless. Which I think if you're actually capable of being positionless and doing a lot of different things. There's a lot of value to that. There's nothing wrong with being someone that can do multiple things well. And he's one of those people. And the Saints know how to use him. They know how to get that out of him. And I think there's probably more that he can even do.
Yeah.
As he grows into it. So yeah, I like him. I like him on the team. I think he earned the spot. I really do.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I put him in the slot and I didn't feel guilty about it. So let me ask you, did you ever think about your word bro? Did he cross your mind?
Who?
Bro, Delvin.
I mean, he would be in the conversation at cornerback, just given, Keenan Lewis is too, just given,
yeah, that's fair. Keenan Lewis.
I don't know if I've told the story on here before or not. I think I told it to you, but when the Patriots were practicing with Tennessee, I was on the field talking to Kenny after the practice, and the conversation as another dude comes up, introduces himself, got in the secondary. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know. It's a private conversation. I don't want to put him on blast. But he's just like, oh, were you, oh yeah, I covered the Saints, knew Kenny from there, da. It's like, Delvin, bro? Like, yeah. He's like, man, he has some of the best talent, like pure ability I've ever seen. Like, we studied him. And it's just like, he was raw and like there was still a lot of ways to go, but like his just pure ability was like noticed by his peers throughout the league. Yeah. And he could have really been like a really special player.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That 1 year, man, I thought they stole one. Like they done got a shutdown corner from the CFL, bro. But
I mean, there was still a handful of plays from rough edges, but like,
yeah, absolutely,
he was gonna clean that stuff up and figure it out. And
when he lost that ball over his head, I just think of that play. Every time I see a deep ball, like I'm telling you, like that play like comes in my head for a hot second, and I'm like, okay, I need to like, not think about that. But yeah,
the two he tripped covering T.Y. Hilton a couple times. I mean, there were a handful of plays that season where he had some mistakes, but yeah, I mean, he was gonna clean that stuff up. And yeah.
I know you was that was your. I mean, you called him out as the camp guy that year, so I was like, I gotta ask him about his old boo. Anyone on the list who you didn't get on that you kind of like felt a little way about, like, man, I would have liked to get him on here, but I couldn't. I can go first and give you a second to think about it. For me, it was Harper. Oh, go ahead.
Lance was definitely like the one for me that I wanted to get on the team.
Okay.
And I just didn't. I don't know. I just felt like Cooks kind of gave an element to the team that otherwise, like who you throwing the ball down the field to?
Yeah, you running a 2020 offense. And this list has 2011 Drew on there. So,
right.
Yeah, this is not like last year's Drew. So Lance was one for me. Roman was another one, and Streif. Like those were like
Streif.
Three of the guys. I was like, man, can I make a backup tackle or something? Like those are some guys who I wish we could have got on there. So, but yeah, all right, man, that was fun. Hey guys, listen, if you have any fun off-season exercises for us, let us know. It makes these kind of type of things are fun for me. Instead of thinking of a topic, I already had one. That was one thing that was good. And two, it's like a good brain exercise. And it make me see names I haven't seen in a while, like Travaris Barnes and Broderick Bunkley and David Hawthorne and other guys. Make sure you guys go to NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Pick a tier. There's a couple of film study articles on the site. There is a chance of a wide receiver maybe stepping out this year and being a little bit better. And there's T-shirts that Nick is flashing above the screen. Get your medium, get your double XL with small little arms, make that happen. But get your shirt, man. Get your shirt. It's there. And support, man. Support, represent. I walk out, I'll be in the grocery store with my mask on first and my hat on second, repping, man. So bring that energy wherever you are, especially if you're local. So we appreciate it. And tell a friend and tell your friend. Also, you guys see on the screen, you guys can save $12 on the annual plan with code year2. So if you guys want to gift a sub to someone, you can gift a sub now on the site, or you can get yourself a sub now at a reduced price, $12 off an annual sub, which is, it was like a little bit more than a month, if I remember correctly. So,
and check out our second podcast, Pels Pod. We started a podcast. The Rattler brothers are doing that for us. Pels Pod.
Yep.
At Pels Pod on Twitter. You can find it. Check that out. Subscribe, like it. Get them started. They'll be on YouTube soon too. So we'll get that information out so you guys can catch it.
Yep. Yeah, make sure you guys check that out. Follow them and support. They're part of the NewOrleans.Network. See what I did there? All right,
that's actually what it's called. So,
yep. Yeah. Before I go, I just want to let you guys know I will be getting my vaccine tomorrow, and I'm super excited. So you guys, pray for your boy. That's all I got to say. So thank you guys for joining us on the live stream. We appreciate you guys. Exercise like this, having chat is always fun because it makes me, I'm trying to pay attention, and I see names that I probably wouldn't have thought of, but that I didn't think of when I was doing the exercises. Chris Ivory is one. I think that was the main one that I saw in chat. So thank you guys for joining. Make sure you guys continue to show up. Make sure you guys continue to support us. Go to NewOrleans.Football, get you a shirt, get you a subscription, give you a sub, and support the Pales podcast. With that said, thank you guys for listening. We will see you next week. We out.